Hi, I'm Johanna and I'm a student at Cincinnati State Technical and Community College. Today I want to introduce you to the EnteraLite infusion pump system. We have the PC, which is the brain of the operation. Here we program the dosage and the time for the proposed treatment for the patient. We have an infusion pump, which is used for blood transfusions, hydration, and also just to, for example, rinse the eye if there should be some kind of debris or injury. We have the EtCO2 model, which monitors and aids respiration, and then we have the PCA, patient control syringe pump. This is specifically for pain management and is controlled by the patient. Now, as we're doing our PM here, we see that everything is connected to the computer and we're using the specific software. Here on the left side, you can see the different devices. You can see that they're connected. We have the PC, we have the PCA, and we have the EtCO2 pump. So we select the PCA, go to preventive maintenance, and we start our tasks. On the right side of the window, you can see what tasks are called to be done. This is a step-by-step guide what needs to be done to make sure that everything is functional. You start to make sure that everything is clean, that all the moving parts are doing just that. You check the clamp, that it works. You check that the claw is usable and works, and that it can be manipulated up or down. You make sure that the flange detector works and responds, and you move on to the next part. On the next page, you check all these things and make sure that everything is moving correct. At this point, you will actually see on the computer that contact has been made. Now, for purposes of saving time today, I'm not going to do the entire calibration. I'm just going to guide you through the steps. It takes several minutes for the pump to actually adjust and calibrate, so that would take too long in this demonstration. So on the next page, we can see that it shows all the pixels here, that all the LEDs and electronic displays work correctly. Moving on to the next page, we give it a pass result and continue. Now it calls that we have to have at least one other device attached. This is to make sure that these IUI connectors that I showed you here working correctly, so that both of them are usable, and to make sure that even if we use one pump here, that the next one will still be functional. Moving on. Now we see here on our screen that all three devices are detected, and we move on to the next one. Here you hear the alarm and you see the alarm. On the next page, we check that these push buttons work, the restart, channel off, the pause, and the channel select. Everything works correctly, so we move on. Here we check again our barrel clamp to test and to go on. Now we attach the patient control button. We press down, make sure that the LED, the light, is on. We test. It works. We disconnect. And we move on. On the next page, we see that the door opens and closes. When we open it, it pops open, and we move on to the next page. It will always give you a pass or fail, so you can see and make sure that all the connections and binary systems are working correctly. Now we're pressing the knob here to make sure that these are connected, that the resistance is correct, and that this can move up and down. We are now getting to the point where we need to check and make sure that the barrel can correctly detect the size of the syringe. For that purpose, we have different size cylinders. They are inserted like this, and we get the measurements and connection on the computer. There are different sizes and height, lengths. And then we come to the point to where we can calibrate and adjust for different heights. This process takes quite a while because the pump will run a self-test, and it will adjust and calibrate and rate and lower the syringe plunger and adjust backwards and forwards. Once these tests are done, you are basically finished with your PM. You remove your test cylinders, close things up, and at that point you get your PM sticker, which is attached to the back of the pump. This way it is clear to the staff that everything is up to date, and if Joint Commission come, they will be able to readily see that it's been PM'd and it's all due and in correct timing. The next thing is you can set on your computer, you can set your new PM date so that it will show up on the next year on the PM list. At this point, you are finished with your PM and the device can go back into service.